I hate what she stands for in that film, right? The zombies are clearly fucking. Not only are they What is up, everybody? I'm Warren. That's Aaron. This is Movie Talk.
That song's a banger.
It is, dude. It's gonna go chart. We need to make that song into an NFT right now so we can get the rights for it. So when it does get widely distributed, we are in the money. But
I don't think that's how NFTs work.
no one knows. It's a total hustle. You didn't watch Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live? Yeah.
Oh, and that brilliant Wario sketch? I just happened to miss it, thankfully.
Can you imagine working at Tesla, let's say as a mid-level manager, and you watch your CEO get up and like do really bad, shitty imitations? You think your corporate business party is awkward when they try to tell jokes? What was that like Monday morning meeting like? Druid Locks, what's up? Thanks for the raid with a rating party of 6. Hello, geek girl Lisa.
I think it was hello.
We're here to talk about Army of the Dead. If you haven't seen it, it's on HBO Max. Is it on Netflix?
Netflix. It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Got him.
Completely forgettable zombie movie, but I'll let you be the judge. You should watch it. Okay. We're here to discuss it. I just kind of kicked the fire right now. What are your thoughts on that masterpiece?
I'm interested. I had fun with it, but there's definitely some points. I have some complaints. You know, I'm on the fence on it. I had fun with some scenes, but then I was also like, where is this going? Some stuff really didn't circle back. We'll get into the more, specific spoiler parts of that in a minute. Overall, had fun with some problems,
I feel like zombie movies are like pop music. Like, it's just lazy creating. I don't know. It doesn't require much. I don't go in with much expectation. And yet I'm still always disappointed in the quality of the dog shit that you can't even call it camp because they completely intended for you to take this movie seriously, right? Like there are some comedic moments or whatever, but like it wasn't Zombieland. It wasn't over the top.
No. And the dramatic moments, they weren't well written enough for me to emote and feel the weight of the scene. Like Dave Bautista is trying to act. It feels like he's trying to win an Oscar at some point, and I just am not buying it.
I like him. Fire his agent because the trajectory his career was going. This film was like a pit stop. Like this is not. You're a lead, but you deserve so much more than this. And I'm trashing it, but like. If you watch it, it's whatever. It's not going to be. Before we get into that, we're going to save that for later. We like to break this down into a lot of different segments. And firstly, I just want to find out, what's new? What are you watching? Is there anything worth keeping an eye on in the news?
Hell yes. It just wrapped up. We're a little late to the game as usual, but Castlevania just finished. And I loved that whole series. Like everybody
Live
stopped
action?
watching after. No, it's animated. It's very well animated. I love animated stuff.
It's a series though.
Yeah, 4 seasons.
Okay, I'll give it a watch. But like I can see it being well done because the art style is beautiful. But if I'm watching things over time, it's either a documentary or a really bad sitcom like Schitt's Creek.
I have not seen that. It's in my queue, but I've been hesitant to start it. Because I love the dad in that show, Schitt's Creek. Right?
Oh yeah, and his real life son is in that.
Really,
it's amazing. Actually, I called it bad facetiously. It's actually really good.
Okay,
but it's gotten to the point now where my browsing is watching a movie feels like a chore, right? Like I can get into a docuseries or episode 1, 2, 3 or something, knowing it has seasons way easier than I can sit down for a 2-hour film. And I don't know that I like that. I feel like that's the platforms conditioning me to accept this type of content, or maybe it's COVID sickness in terms of what I consume. Sitting down and watching new films is like a struggle.
It's a lot of different factors because like I get the sense of that. I'm way used to binging stuff more than I am seeing like movies. Like if I see one movie that's really compelling, I need a break before I watch another one, But if it's a show that's compelling, if it's an episode that's compelling, it drives me to the next one immediately. It's like I need that dopamine hit. Give me that dopamine.
Druid Locks brought up a good point. Lucifer, Loki, right? The Marvel universe has moved off of movies, and like with WandaVision, it's now like completely on episodic. That is a calculated studio choice because I'm sure if they had the ROI on the film, they would have made it into a film, right? They would have found some way to squeeze
Yeah.
that in. Don't give me this, I want to tell a better story. You're still Warner Brother fat cats or Fox Studio fat cats. This is a nickels and dimes thing.
Yeah, they charged me to Disney Plus through my Verizon account.
Disney Plus,
and so now, so now I'm just like, you know what? Fine, just take the money. I don't care. They bought me. They got
They
me.
beat you.
Yeah, I'm stuck.
I'm
stuck.
defeated you.
And now I have to watch each episode of Loki. The best of the three.
And while you have that Disney Plus subscription, you have to snort up as much content as you can because you know at the end of that month you are not renewing that bitch. So you're just like, oh, what is this, Mandalorian? What is that? You're right. You're just like,
is that fucking Baby Yoda?
Yeah.
What have you been watching?
The newest Love, Death, and Robots finally, right? Again, it's more sci-fi and less cyberpunk in it. Michael B. Jordan is in one of the features, the small features, but
really
the first, he played the guy where the AI had taken over the place he crash landed, and I don't want to.
Yes.
It was actually really, the graphic quality was like really insane, the CGI.
Totally.
But the first episode where like her Roomba tries to kill her, that's where I was hoping Love, Death, and Robots went in that direction, because this third season kind of felt more sci-fi, less cyberpunk, less technology Alfred Hitchcock, and more let's tell a sci-fi story.
I totally see what you mean. I finished the second season as well. See, like the first season had not only twice the amount of episodes, but they just definitely bounced around different places way more. This second season, I totally agree. Like there were some episodes I loved. If you watch it straight through, like I know some friends who just bounced around, but if you watch it straight from episode 1 to the end, the final episode is really weird to end on. Like it's not the best. I feel like they peaked around the third one, but I do miss the cyberpunk elements that were in the first. Like episode 1 of season 1, that's amazing. That could be its own show. Like that was fucking incredible.
You went into season 1 and 2 of like each one of these could be its own spinoff, but like now I'm treating season 3 as if it's like the shorts category of some film festival, right? I'm like, oh, cool, unique fucking stories, but like I don't really give a shit about them when it's all said and done.
Yeah, some of them weren't as compelling in season 2. Like the first episode of season 2 is like that lady trying to protect herself from her Roomba because and then it spirals.
That was the best one.
Not that really.
I thought that was the best one. Yeah,
that one was my least favorite, hands down. My favorite one was the episode where I think it was Nolan North too, in episode 3, where he played the detective or something in the society where everybody is immortal, but you can't have kids. Having
a kid, that is
illegal.
That gave me Altered Carbon vibes for sure. And that was like, okay, I'm not like rolling my eyes at this. That one was pretty good. But I mean, I guess
haven't seen Altered Carbon yet.
No, you got to do that.
Queue.
The other thing I've been watching is a bunch of free classic movies on YouTube. Really? Shameless self plug, like disclaimer alert, right? Conflict of interest. But really? I've been doing Robin Hood Men in Tights, Hannibal, Down Periscope, The Last Samurai, Mars Attacks, Terminator, Juice, Clue of Mice and Men, like
Terminator,
Urban Cowboys with John Travolta. Yeah, it's got like a decent library on it. I saw something new and free, and I thought it was because it was with my like YouTube TV or my premium subscription, but it looks like it's free on the platform. So I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna be watching this Mel Brooks movie. Hell yeah.
I need to get into more John Travolta stuff because I saw Grease too young to appreciate it, and now Lauren's like, rewatch Grease, and then we're gonna go through the rest of his catalog, and I'm like, wait.
I feel like we need to watch John Travolta's career from beginning to end, because that's going to tell such an amazing story.
I would like to do that, because I'm going to get really curious what you think when we get to The Fanatic. If you've seen the trailer for that movie, it's where he's trying to play character with a mental disability, but turns out he's not good at that, and it's very offensive. So, and then it turns into like this horror movie kind of thing, and it's not well done that way either. It's not terrifying. It's just upsetting. So I can't wait to get to that one. But also, Lauren wants me to see another one called It's where he has wings, like angel wings. And the
Yeah, no,
trailer,
Michael. It's called Michael.
it's
And he
Michael.
basically he thinks he gets hit by like a UFO beam or something, and he gets special power. Oh no, that's a different one. Michael is where
He
he is
has two
actually an
movies.
angel. Dude, it's
He has
ridiculous. His
two
career
movies
is
where he's an
fucking
angel.
ridiculous. Even
I
though
have to
he's the
see.
lead, he almost ruins all of them. Like,
I
it's
didn't get a good taste of John Travolta because I saw Grease when I was too young to appreciate it. Then I saw Train in Paris 1, 2, 3 or something, and he's awful in that movie. Like he's not the worst he's ever been, but man, he's kind of rough in it. He's not terrifying as a villain in that movie to
So
me.
why
I
does
was
From
hilarious.
Russia with Love? Yeah, that's another one where it's like, so why does he keep getting work? Why do you think he keeps getting work?
The name and Grease. I feel like he's writing off Grease. Maybe. What else has he done?
Decades. Like, Face Off was a good Travolta. I think that was Travolta having fun, and you want to see more. Yeah. Anyway,
I agree with that. I would love to rewatch Face Off to re-review it with like here because
we should do that.
That
That's
movie's
happening.
I love that movie.
That movie's amazing. I've committed that movie to memory. We can do a duplicate record tonight. We can record that episode next. I'll change my shirt.
I'm so fucking down. I won't.
I didn't know that Cardi B was in Fast 9.
Really?
And also Helen Mirin was in Fast 9. And Cardi B is coming back for Fast 10. I'm gonna make a full admission. Fast and Furious films and that entire franchise outside of 1 and 3 are garbage, but they keep bringing these people in to pull people like me in because now I got to see Fast 9 because Cardi B is
seriously.
Yeah, I got to see it.
I don't think that's enough to drive me to the movie theater, but I'm always still curious what the reviews of a Fast and Furious movie are. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to pay the box office because I know they're gonna earn just enough to justify the next one, the next 3 down the line. You know, that's just me.
You look at all the names in this film, you have to realize they've got to be making money hand over fist with these ridiculous eye-gasm scenarios, right? Like, what is the pull? I don't understand. It's a high school date film. Is that it? High schoolers all across the country just flood the place to go into these. I can think of better places to make out.
Can you imagine your first date being at a Fast and Furious movie? It's over. And that's coming from a dude where our first date, me and my wife, was Green Hornet with Seth Rogen.
And she still married you.
Yes,
that's great.
She did. She muscled it. She muscled it down. Would you recommend the Hobbs and Shaw spinoff?
That's
on HBO Max.
You know what? So this is how
I love Idris Elba.
Realize this exactly. This is how I realize why the star A-list ecosystem exists, right? Because if Idris Elba is in something, if Tom Hardy's in something, I want to see it. If James McAvoy is in something, like I gotta check this out. So Idris Elba and he in the trailer he called himself the Black Superman, and I was like, yep, nope, sold. I still haven't seen it, but I fully intend to watch it with excitement.
I would watch it for this.
Pulls you in.
I'm putting that out there. I'd watch it for this. So we got 2 on the docket now, because that's what I would do that only for this, to either complain or rave about it. Because the best part about those movies, from an outside perspective, they're great drunk movies. You just watch them and you see like cars flying, people running away from submarines cracking ice, cars driving away from submarines cracking ice. Just doesn't make sense. Shooting missiles, torpedoes at the cars. It's super cool. I think it's better. It's actually more universal than Transformers, in my opinion, because you don't even need the sci-fi robot shit aspect of it.
I envision opening night in every small town across America. As soon as Fast 9 comes out, the parking lot is full of modded cars. People are catching races on the main street. You know it's happening, man. This is like
hydraulics are pumped up.
Yeah, undercarriage lighting is everywhere. I hate it here. I'm having a hard time digesting that there is enough of those people to continue to endorse making a 10th one. Congratulations on getting to 10 of a franchise. Like that in of itself Hats off.
You know what
Respect.
they say? It's all about family.
Was that your Vin Diesel?
That is everyone's Vin Diesel. He's the new Arnold Schwarzenegger. I feel like everybody can do a Vin Diesel. You just do it super lazy and deep.
Who are the new action icons right now? Vin Diesel and The Rock are in that boat.
Would
for
Keanu
sure.
be in that boat? I mean, John
I think
Wick 3,
so.
It was a while, but I feel like he could still do more stuff.
Keanu is like the modern Charles Bronson. I feel like.
Went over my head on Charles Bronson.
You've never seen a Bronson film.
I don't think so.
Charles Bronson is a less campy Clint Eastwood. Henry Cavill is definitely in the superhero bucket. Yeah, Alan Chan with the shout. That John Cena.
Yeah,
they're posers. Come on, man. I wouldn't call Dolph Lundgren
Cena
in the superhero, even though he was like a bigger actor.
Henry Cavill, yes, because he has more than just Superman going on. John Cena, what else than the Suicide Squad is he like a main leading man in? You know, like
he's in Fast 9. He had this,
but not as a
called,
lead, right? He's like the villain, right? Even the villains aren't the lead.
He's a villain. He's like a co-lead. He had a film called The Mirin, where it was like one of his first films as like a independent from wrestling. And there's a scene in it where somebody shoots out the driver's side window of the Tahoe he's in, and he holds up a bulletproof vest to block the bullets as he's driving.
Oh my God.
I mean,
every wrestler has that first movie where they're trying to break out. For Dave Bautista, it was Uber or Struber or something. I don't know.
Where he had the Indian actor, I believe the guy is. Yeah.
Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah. That was I haven't seen that, but that looked really funny. I feel like Bautista is breaking the mold with Blade Runner to Spectre, James Bond, right?
Yeah.
He's picking his roles really well. So to see him take a massive step back in Army of the Dead was really disappointing.
It was weird. And I just saw the new Blade Runner recently and loved it. So, and I think Dave Bautista is a good actor, actually more than John Cena, more than The Rock. I think he does a really good job. He's
amazing.
Yeah, I agree. He really didn't shine in Army of the Dead as much as he could have. I mean, again, that's on the script too, but you know.
Yeah, but you kind of, so maybe this is him realizing that like in the lead of a role, I'm responsible for carrying it in more ways than my acting, right? I have to ensure that the story makes sense. My reputation is on the line here. Not to put too much on it, right? It is a fucking zombie movie, right? Like no one is going to consider this for an Oscar nomination, but
and they should.
Like it's going to reflect poorly on you if nobody watches it.
Yeah. I think it got a good following. I don't know what Army of the Dead pulled in, but I think a lot of people were talking about it. It was at least top 10 on Netflix.
Dude, top 10 lists are basically paid placement, right? Let's not stop it, right? There might be one or two authentically traffic driven things, but like that's a curated list. Like give me a break.
Shit. All right. Well, now that I'm realizing that, I think you're right about the one or two that might be genuine, because I know another thing I've been watching is Bo Burnham. If you ever followed that comedian, I highly recommend you start now if you haven't. I love that dude. His comedy is hilarious. But he came out with a new special called Inside that I'm sure you saw me tweeting about, because
no, I didn't see you tweeting about it, but I saw it on Netflix and I was like, this is interesting, but it looks like I need to be in the mood for this. And I just haven't been in the mood yet.
I think he makes fun of himself and making a stand-up comedy, not even a stand-up special, but a comedy special today after 2020. You know what I mean? Like, how do you do that? But I think he did it so tastefully and very cleverly. It was a lot of his comedy songs are well written and super funny. It's a gem. I'm gonna watch that thing like casually when I love something in the background. But it deals with his depression in the creative process. So I do think you need to find the right moment if you want to watch it. You know,
for sure. That sort of approach to like now I'm curious with that endorsement. Curiosity is going to carry me to watch it. I was interested in it before, and now I was like, all right, I gotta see it. It's kind of the same thing with like Reggie Watts's approach to like music and comedy and like conversation.
Yeah,
like it's kind of that, but just like a different way of doing it, right? Like Reggie Watts wouldn't do it in a room by himself with like the lights off sort of thing, but you know, this comedian might.
I would totally agree, because I love both of those comedians, but Reggie Watts versus Bo Burnham, they approached comedy completely differently. And it comes out brilliant
in their specials. Yeah.
Still brilliant. I would, yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, let me know when you see that.
I'm gonna watch it, but you need to let me and the audience here know what the hell happened to you. Why weren't we able to record this sooner, Aaron? What were you doing with your spare time?
Well, now that Thomas put it in the newsletter, I feel like I should probably address it. And I sit here with a brace pretending as if nothing happened.
Don't lean too far back in that chair, for fuck's sake. Don't do that.
It's a comfortable chair. Okay, but regardless, I will stand because
don't.
Long story.
Jeez, he's gonna hurt himself, guys.
All right. I've stood before, and I shall stand again. Okay, here's a thing.
That is commitment to the craft.
We got bored. We put stickers on it at home, you know? So long story short, me and my wife, Lauren, went to Hawaii for a brief trip. First time. Was really fun. And then we found this spot out in Hana where you can jump off a waterfall straight into a pond. And, you know, I was like, the first thing I said was, I'm going to regret this if I don't do it. So, so the first jump was fine. I have a fat
You tempted fate twice.
I was like, fate didn't do me the first time. I think I could do it again.
Okay.
So fate, I jumped the first time and that was fine. Although the video is kind of funny. I want to post it on Discord or something.
There was a video of this. Was there a video?
Each jump. There's a video of each jump.
Disclaimer to everybody watching. If you ever want to do something extreme and you see somebody pulls out their cell phone and records you, think to yourself, how will this look on World Star? How will this look on YouTube? Right? Like, it was my wife. Assume that's bad karma. Oh, God.
But I was like, record this. I got it. And the first time was okay. I walked out of it just fine. But there was a huge slap noise when I hit the water. And everyone was like, ooh. And under the water, I could hear the...
That looked a little painful.
So I was like, oh, I didn't look cool at all. Damn it.
Damn.
But after that, I was like, I think I can do one more and then we'll head out. And that one was the one that did it. So I didn't land on my feet so much as I did on my butt on the water. And I didn't even hit the bottom, but that was just enough. So, you know, learn from my experience, anyone watching, but don't land on the water on your butt. Try and use your feet, because I just immediately like slinkied my back a little bit, you know, my spine a smidge. It's fine. It could have been way worse, but luckily it's not worse.
So it's more of a tailbone issue than a back issue?
No, it's along the vertebrae on the spine. So like near L1 or L1, it was like a little, it was a compression fracture. So one crushed into the other. So yeah, but I mean, I'm walking fine. I swam out of there fine. No one needed to like lifeguard me in it or anything, but I did immediately feel pain. And then once I was under the water, and I was like, okay, time for air now. So I kicked up from the floor and immediately started waving over, you know, some like friends that we had there at the time. And they came over and just kind of grabbed me by the hands and then just pulled me near shore. I could drift a little like wood, like a piece of wood, but I wasn't in danger. I was just like, I don't want to be swimming right now.
Damn, man.
Who knew? You know, who knew? Still gonna go back to Hawaii, just not gonna jump.
I am glad that you are okay. That is nuts. And you know, it's one of those things where you're paranoid until you're prepared. Because no one thinks that that's going to happen to them. Everyone sees everyone jumping on, fucking doing this and doing that.
There were 5 other people that did it before I did it. And I was like,
I assume that I'm the statistical anomaly who will wind up really fucked up. So that keeps me from doing anything remotely risky. Jumping out of a plane, no, okay, I'm all right, guys. You know, fucking bungee jumping, nope, don't need that. I'm okay watching it from here. Like, you want to jump off this 50-foot cave crevice opening into this water that you can't see the bottom of? Like, yeah, no, I'm okay, guys. I'm okay.
Yeah, if I could, I would jump again, but maybe I should have stopped at 1. Maybe I should have just called it off at 1. Yeah, that second time was definitely the statistical anomaly part.
Did you see a doctor before you left the hospital, before you left the island, or did you wait till you got back?
I like had one night of rest and just like on the bed at our Airbnb, and then after that I was like, maybe we should go see a doctor. It's not any better in the morning. So
Shit.
So we got it all taken care of. Well, now I'm just in a resting period right now.
How long until you can go back to the Quest and Chaos studio?
So it was from the beginning of June, and they said at least 2 months. I would have to have the brace on. So at least 2 months, and then some good PT for this boy, physical therapy. I think, but I'm still walking around. I think it's just like stretching your back, getting that back in motion. So that's where I'm at. But I got a real kick, not in a bad way. I got a kick out of that. Thomas put it in the newsletter. I almost thought it was not. He said it very tastefully. It was just an injury, but I thought he was going to tell the whole story. So I really, I'm glad I could tell.
Let's play this like hypothetical game then. If you had no pain, do you think you'd be able to jog, or are there physical limitations to your range of motion?
I can't rotate, and I probably shouldn't reach and touch my toes, like standing straight up. But I can walk around. Just probably can't sprint, because that would cause pressure on the spine.
Okay, take that scenario. If I were to turn you into a zombie today, would you then become an Olympic sprinter?
I might ignore the pain and just full on sprint.
Your body would break down. No, get the fuck out of here.
Zombies don't feel it. They're corrupted. Their brains are corrupted and eroded. So they're not going to think when their body's falling apart. You know what I mean?
How come you don't see any elderly zombies walking around?
You see some aged zombies.
World War Z. Yeah, right. There's no zombies.
Do not compare it to World War Z. That movie was awful.
25. So it gets into my kind of concern of the whole zombie shit as a genre. Like, if you're gonna do zombie stuff, make it a comedy, make it completely ridiculous. Don't try to do it seriously. I don't care if you're Will Smith in I Am Legend. It's a joke.
I need to see that.
I can only suspend belief to paint you in a universe where this is ridiculous enough to work, because I just can't get past the fact that you think some fat guy becomes a zombie and all of a sudden he becomes fucking, what's the dude's name? The Olympic runner. Joke totally missed it. I can't remember that guy's name. Anyway.
But if you said Olympic runner, I would have laughed.
Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt. We're going to edit that in. I said Usain Bolt.
Okay. Cool.
All right, let's hear, you and with the chat, right? Like, when you watch zombie films, do you prefer fast zombies or slow zombies?
Slow zombies to me aren't intimidating, because like a thing that bothered me a ton, but they're more realistic, which I do like. So I'm conflicted on that, because in The Walking Dead, there were moments where there were these very slow, they're letting out like a hissing noise every 5 seconds, sneaking up on characters that were like so vigilant. And it's surprising that you're like, okay, this character could not have, it's impossible. This character did not hear a single zombie sneak up on them this far away in the middle of this forest. Like, that happened a lot of times in Walking Dead. So I kind of got done with that series. But Shaun of the Dead did a really good job of making it feel overwhelming and funny at the same time. So I'm conflicted between fast and slow, because I also love Left 4 Dead. You know what I mean? Like Left 4 Dead 2,
yeah,
fucking great.
I think I align along the thought of like Alan Chan, where he's saying that zombies are like decaying beasts, and fast zombies are more infected than they are zombies, because zombies just like total death, starting to rot, nothing, no sustenance. Like, your brain is meat, your muscles are meat, they need energy to fucking thrive. Slow zombies can be overwhelming in my book, and especially when you got like the person cut off at the waist, still kind of clawing towards you because of the hunger. That seems to me more realistic than fast zombies, and more scary. Like, fast zombies in my head are like cartoons. It doesn't like work for me. In a world where fast zombies exist, I think that all you need to do is lay low for like a month, and then their numbers decrease exponentially.
Okay.
Right? Like, they cannibalize themselves. They use up all that energy for one reason or another. Like, the world goes from 100 million zombies to 1 million.
If they're slow, right?
If they're fast.
Oh, if they're fast, they can.
If they're fast,
deteriorate. Okay. Yeah, I guess you're right. They're burning up no energy that's there. It seemed like for this specifically, Army of the Dead, he didn't put any more logic to them than the alien excuse, which I was okay with.
I don't know what you mean by alien excuse, but I thought these were more infected than zombies, right? Because they did have the I am legend, let's start a colony. I'm going to get sad when my zombie wife dies, and like I can hear a beating heartbeat from a corpse pregnancy. Like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Huh. Okay, so I haven't seen I Am Legend yet. That might be the thing, because when I saw that, I was like, okay, Zack Snyder, and like I've said this before, he's very good at visuals, you know, shots, making it look beautiful no matter what it is. But the story, when you think about it, really has some holes. It's in a lot of Zack Snyder films. Army of the Dead is no different, because I liked Dawn of the Dead from him way more, honestly, than this, even though they had fast zombies then. But it seemed like a better emotional drama while they were stuck in the mall. Regardless, for Army of the Dead, I was okay with the alien aspect, where they were like, these zombies are actually aliens. You know, it's an alien thing, because that's what the two military men were talking about in the beginning of the movie. So when it got to the alien queen the zombie queen was pregnant, I was okay with it. I didn't really question it. I watch a lot of anime though, so I'm okay with random twists. But ultimately it served for the zombie king to, that's not his name, but whatever, to hunt down the main characters, right? Bro, that's basically what it is. Yeah,
he was smart enough to wear a face shield and a cape. My man was wearing a cape. This is
Zack Snyder just loves Batman.
Yeah, no shit. Zack Snyder on two fronts. This film felt like Zack Snyder in the entry credits, and that was it. The aesthetic and the rest of the movie was not Zack Snyder, but like the entry of like using the intro to tell a story was like amazing.
That's the frustrating part. Yeah,
we'll get Zack Snyder does love Batman, to the point where this whole Batman Selena Kyle controversy is popping up now. Are you familiar with it? Does Batman go down on Selena Kyle? He said canon. He says that he does.
The fuck?
So let me clear the air here.
He's a troll.
Well, he is a troll, but let's stick inside the DC universe, right? Superman and Lois Lane are in committed, loving relationships. There are a ton of partnered up Harley Quinn and Ivy, right? Ton of partnered up people that, like, I'm sure perform cunnilingus on each other, or, you know, are very generous lovers. Batman is not that guy. Like, it's a canon thing. It's not even a is it possible or appropriate thing. Batman is Jeff Bezos. He does not do that. I doubt
you
Batman
think he's a selfish lover.
Sex. I doubt that Batman even has sex with Catwoman without a condom, let alone go down on her. Batman is like in that thought process.
He's that defensive against everybody and everything. He's like, no.
He has to be prepared for every outcome. But
he's like a "don't look at me" kind of guy.
On that side. On the other side, his day presence is like a billionaire, playboy, trillionaire. You know what I mean? Like, he's got women lining up. He's not practiced in like giving pleasure. Let's be realistic about it, right?
Yeah, like, he's held back. He's a little. How do I describe it? He's a prude. Is he a cherry? Is he? Wait, you think he's?
Oh, he's definitely not a prude. But like, he's
in leather all the time. I guess
he doesn't know what he's doing down there, right? And if he does, like, it's not his.
You don't think he has a bat vibrator? You know what I mean? It's like it's like Ezio just comes out of his wrist.
Nah, man. And he's disciplined. You know those guys who are like disciplined to their craft and like totally dialed in on their work ethic or whatever, but like in the social aspect, they're completely detached from reality. That's Batman. But we like him because he's on the side of good, right? Like, let's be serious.
Yeah, he's dark and gritty, but also good. It's hilarious that fits into his character, because Batman's pretty selfish. You know, I've seen some of my favorite iterations of Batman is when he's like lying to the Justice League or to his Robin or Nightwing about something he was planning in the background. So yeah, he would be a selfish lover.
You want to know how, like, Batman has got this resurgence of being an amazing person, but also in the modern era, we've started to villainize people of extreme wealth. And that's not without cause, right? Dr. Freeze. Yeah. His entire thing is his wife has a rare disease and he's trying to prolong her life to get research to cure her illness, right? He's only a criminal to get money to fund his research to save his wife. So Batman, like, I get it, but instead of beating the shit out of this guy or having him terrorized, why not just fund his fucking research for the greater good of humanity? That's how awful a person Batman is. Right?
I have never thought about that fucking ever. So that's
right?
That makes yeah, he should be Bruce Wayne. He should fund his fucking help. Like, I don't, because then he could probably help, well, not millions, but I'm sure he could use the science somewhere else, you know, in the somewhere.
Gotham is such a shithole of people in criminal enterprises and also wanting to survive. But then you have this mega trillionaire who's acting as a vigilante on a crusade when really, like, distributing some funds to the lower, like, I'm sure there are people in the Mask's or Bane's crew who are like, yo, this is the only job out there. Like, if I don't rob this bank, I can't feed my family. Right? Not everybody's a frothing at the mouth sociopath.
If Batman makes more jobs, he'll have less criminals.
No shit, man.
Damn it. That's good.
So
that's
TLDR,
that's the stuff.
Batman doesn't give a shit enough about Catwoman to go down on her. That's it. End of debate.
So this is where you draw the line versus Zack Snyder's opinion of what his version of the DC universe. This is where you draw the line.
It's fanfic. It's like DC erotica. Like, yeah, I'd love to see that. I'd love to, get involved with that. But
if Twitter has no way anything,
Batman in terms of a character, Bruce Wayne, let's stop calling him Batman. There's no way Bruce Wayne is performing oral sex on Selena Kyle. Zero.
What if he's faking it? He's trying to it's a ploy. He's like, I'll do this, but only so it gets me more information.
If that's what's happening, Selena Kyle probably stops him in the middle and says, no, let's just, this is awful. I don't even think we'll get that far.
If Twitter's proved anything, I feel like at some point, regardless, the Snyderverse is coming back, and this is going to happen in it. Batman's just gonna. It's not even gonna be that rated R2. It's just gonna be Ben Affleck coming up from under the curtains, or Robert Pattinson coming up from under the curtains, being like, "Okay, now I have to go. We're done now."
How amazing!
We're not talking.
It would be awesome if Catwoman, the next casted Catwoman, was Jennifer Lopez. I would love that.
You would half-ass the fuck out of that.
Ben Affleck is really in character here. This is great. Yeah. This is Batman. Batman 2 is going to be like Geely, the revamped Geely. Back on topic now that we've gotten off Zack Snyder and how much this. Yeah. Can zombies be driven by their senses? Are they see, touch, smell, or are they just like normal people who just like crave blood? What's your take?
Okay. I've always looked at different interpretations and never picked my favorite zombie version. But I guess if I'm thinking, I would say it's the ones that react to noise. I think I like the idea when someone's manipulating sound around the creature and then they can get around it. Because if it's blind or something and it's still just as fierce, or some other like in Last of Us, like it feels like the pollen makes up the missing muscle tissue or something like that. The plant growth helps fill in the blanks a little bit. So I can suspend disbelief even more there.
I think sound is a scarier interpretation of the zombie genre, like with like A Quiet Place of all places, of all films, kind of plays that up. But how, using sound, do zombies differentiate from each other? It has to be like smell or heat, right?
I thought it was just constant noise. So like, if they could, heat is a cool indicator too, because then it gives you their perspective. You know what I mean? Yeah. It makes it a little more tense when the zombies are predator.
Heat or smell. It would have to be heat or scent.
It was mainly.
But I agree. Sound is the visual is kind of like ridiculous because like your eye, like the eyes start frosting over and shit. Like, what are you actually looking at, right? Like a stereotypical zombie has like white pupils and like you're blind. What are you looking at, right? What's registering to you?
Was it visual in Army of the Dead? It seemed like they were just going off of like what they saw and kind of ran towards it. Or
it
seemed like they had a society.
Above. Yeah, they had. It was all of the above. They were more infected than they were undead.
Okay, I like a little bit of everything concept, for zombies, where it felt like honestly, it felt like Zack Snyder just loved Left 4 Dead and he wanted different types of zombies in this movie, different. you know, where they could move
Sure.
faster, or some were stronger than others, some led packs of others. I like the idea of that, but ultimately it just kind of felt like it was Left 4 Dead the movie, where you only saw people shooting really cool scenes of people shooting zombies. And there really wasn't much to back that. Yeah.
It was a militaristic action shooter in the same way that Fast 9 is like for the muscleheads. That's what this film was. Like, let's be honest.
But even at that point, the first 5 minutes, that intro sequence, like, you know, even though maybe it was a little cliche where they played, you know, like Viva Las Vegas, but that whole sequence,
I love that,
was more interesting. I wish that was the whole movie.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be. So it was weird that it built to nothing at the end of it, and they were just like, that was what happened in the past. Now,
Hiroki Scorpion was the main villain. The actor who played Scorpion essentially became the main villain, not like the villain who does nefarious things, right? But the villain driving the subplot of like why we need to go into there in the first place. And I felt like telling that story was really rushed. Like 10 minutes in, here's like the montage did a really good job of establishing where people were and like what's happening, and it was fun. But then like you sit down and you get a story and you're just like, okay, we're like piecing Lego blocks together. This is so, as you like to say, exposition. It could have just been like exposition. Okay. And then and now we're in the zombie area.
And then it's almost like they forgot the exposition later, because some stuff.
Why were we doing here again?
Because some stuff never even came back. Like, remember, I was so looking forward to the dude with the saw using his actual buzzsaw. Name one time he used it after he talked about how much.
I can't remember it. The daughter thing was like, I'd put a bullet in her leg and be like, "You're staying out here. I don't give a fuck about your friend. Like, sit the fuck down. Please wheel her off."
I liked how forceful she was, but yeah, it was like, are you serious? You're gonna kill everyone for these two people that aren't, like, what did they do? I don't remember their characters, and honestly, at the end of the movie, they didn't either, because like, remember the helicopter crash?
Yep. As much as I did like the very, very end, but before we get into that, infections. How do infections spread? Is it airborne? Do you like blood bite? What's the deal? How do you become a zombie? What's your preference?
You know, I really liked I know it's not zombie, but it kind of worked the same way. I really liked in Planet of the Apes. It kind of played out, you know, realistically, let's say, where the remake with Planet of the Apes, where the virus kind of spread just subtly before anybody knew it was happening, and then by the time they realized this is an actual thing. I'm trying to say it's pretty realistic, you know. But it happened perfectly. I think even in a movie context, I think that happened perfectly. Like, where, you know, everybody kind of subtly spread the thing without realizing it, because they were just doing their own thing. You know, they were traveling because of business or pleasure, whatever, and it's spread inherently because of that. And I really like that. I like that idea. It's got way more weight now, so I don't know how many movies are going to use that, but it feels like, you know, it was realistic.
I think the best way to do it is contagion born, airborne, right? Where whether or not you're bit, everyone's going to be exposed to it to some degree. So the only survivors are the people who have been isolated from the airborne virus, or people who are naturally immune by genetic predisposition. That, because otherwise it doesn't really make sense, in my opinion. I Am Legend did that perfectly, I think. So you should, I would watch it just because of that aspect to it. But like the bite thing, like zombie movies like to have the traditional bite before you become a zombie. And that doesn't make sense, especially when like you consider, well, what exactly in the bite is causing them to turn? It's got to be some like toxin or something in the bloodstream that comes out in a bite. But when like you smash its head with a baseball bat and the blood splatter gets in your mouth, in your eyes, or whatever, it doesn't have the same effect, right? Like,
okay, yes, I agree, because I've seen a lot of stuff where that totally happens, and I'm confused. I'm like, oh no, are they gonna try and infect them through this? Oh, I guess not. You know?
Yeah, like, oh, I guess my eye duct is just naturally a barrier to particulates or viruses or something, or like literally you're like cutting somebody in half with a chainsaw, that blood is going anywhere and you're laughing maniacally.
Yeah, you're like basically drinking it.
No shit, man. No shit. If zombieism is a thing, you can totally get it through fucking osmosis. Like if I let blood splatter sit on my skin long enough, it should soak in.
And it should infect you. And there's so many bloody clothes. Yeah. Okay.
Dude, yeah.
All right.
This is
Airborne. My only problem with Airborne is most director, like Airborne would not work in Army of the Dead. Like based on how Zach built this world, because it just, it would be broken immediately. Like I don't think he would handle that smart enough. He would panic, and he really would forget about the fact that it was airborne. Because there's scenarios where didn't they need gas masks, or was that for a different thing?
Yeah,
I thought they needed gas masks,
they had
and
a
then
whole bunch of shit that they
them.
wind up not even needing, right? Like it's ridiculous. But again, I'm not disappointed because I had such a low bar for it anyway. But
yeah,
let's try to change that and let's get into this. Aaron, let's make a movie. Let's make a zombie film right now.
Okay.
On the spot.
Oh shit. Oh god damn it.
So we've established a few things. Well, we're gonna have a big debate about fast versus slow zombies, but in the zombie film that we at least agree that the contagion has to be airborne. So there's gonna be either you get it, you're immune to it, or you haven't been exposed to it. Can we agree on that? No matter what the plot is?
Yeah, I like that a lot. I'll stick to it. Yeah. It makes some scenes more tense because of it.
How do zombies detect you? I'm okay with sound, but I would prefer heat.
I like the idea of sound because of the eyes deteriorating. That of just aging out until they're useless. I like that perspective. That's my vote.
Okay. Let's say they're auditory. That will add to the tenseness of the scenes, right? You're going through stuff, you're trying to sneak past something. I can deal with that. Once someone is detected, Aaron, do the zombies turn into ravenous animals, or are they slow crawlers? They have to be slow. I'm gonna go to the board of directors and I'm gonna say, you gotta fucking remove Aaron from this project. He's advocating for completely crazy shit. I can't make this film. I can't work with this guy.
I own more shares of this company than anyone else.
That's probably true. I sold my shares to buy my mom a house and spend the rest on hookers and blow. That's true.
Like a responsible adult, of course.
Like a normal human. Yeah.
I can stick to that. I'll buckle for it.
We've got an airborne contagion where the survivors are only immune, or they've isolated and quarantined well enough to not be exposed. And the zombies that are infected are slow crawlers that respond to auditory inputs. Where is this taking place? Is it somewhere in the country where things are spread out, or is it in an urban center?
Vegas was so fun. Like, I feel like you kind of wasted that in the first 5 minutes. So I'm going to say Japan. We don't know a lot about Japan, us personally, but
that could be really cool. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
In a good tourist Osaka.
Oh, really?
City Osaka.
Okay. I was thinking
Outskirts.
city only because think of the lights at the city, like that would silhouette the zombies. I feel like that would create really good visuals.
Okay.
If we can pull a story together.
This I like that. I like where this is going. But as the zombies deteriorate, so does the energy and infrastructure deteriorate. So in order to keep the lights and the downtown area lit, this has to be new infection, right? Like there still is the story madness in the new chaos of people not knowing what to make of it, or is the story in this is what happened, now we're in survival mode? Where's the story?
Oh man. And it would come out, it's not coming out like any other year other than today, you know what I mean? Like this pitch,
maybe 5 years from now, but like the world is the way the world is right now.
And the world is used to too many zombie movies. So we can't do an origin thing because that's been done like a million times. You know what I mean? If we went to an origin film, it would be very hard and we would have to make it incredibly compelling with the characters.
So we can paint a picture of those isolated people trapped and telling the story of where they were. I think we have the story, right?
Okay.
These isolated people are hunkering down in a bunker. They're on their last rations and they're about to venture out. But the story is more, how did we get here? What happened? And they're telling the stories from their own perspective that culminates in them in the bunker about to head out. So the entire movie is where they were when the outbreak spread, what they thought of it and what they were doing and how they survived. So it's like
And now that
4
it's
or
settled
5
down.
parallel track and they find themselves in one place. I like that.
Okay. So now
Because
the end of the movie basically be them finally coming out to like the world, like outside of their bunker or something, after not
yes,
knowing what it's like.
they
after
have
for so
no
long.
idea what it's like outside the bunker.
Okay.
But the movie ends with the door open because we, the viewers, have no idea. We're left guessing what's on the other side of this door when they finally decide to open it, because they're debating on the inside, right? That's the part of it. Let's stay in here another week. We can't survive. I want to leave, that sort of stuff. I got to find my wife and blah, blah, blah. That sort of thing is
Okay.
happening. And you're getting hints of people's backstories in it. I think I like where this is going. I think this is a good film.
I'm liking it. It feels like if Cloverfield 1, 2, 3 or whatever was better than it was. You know what I mean? Like, because I love those, not sandbox, but I love
Cloverfield
those
Lane, the entire
Cloverfield
time
Lane.
you're like, what the fuck is happening out there?
And then like the last scene
Yeah.
happens and you're like, oh, it should have ended like a little bit sooner. Like,
but with more flashbacks. 100%.
I feel like it would be way more interesting if you already knew it was kind of like an apocalyptic world through their origin story, and it ends with them just freshly wanting to see the world. Like, that's the last scene. Like, we don't even see them outside of the thing. That's what makes you think about it and talk about it more after. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my vote.
I like where this is going because it is in Japan. It is in Osaka, right? We might have 1 or 2 American actors, a couple or business people or whatever, but this is going to be mostly driven by Asian actors, right?
It should be. I mean, like, I don't want to see The Great Wall with Brad Pitt. I don't want to see
starring
that.
Matt Damon. Yeah.
Matt Damon.
We've got these actors. We're in Osaka. The outbreak starts. There's news of other things happening on the other side of the world that gives us an opportunity to bring in actors and actresses, but mostly Asian actors. Who's the lead? Is it a male lead or a female lead?
I want a female lead. You know, I feel like if you want to revamp it and you want to make it current, you have to have a female lead, so that way you kind of, because ultimately, whether it's male or female in a movie, whatever the fuck they're doing is irrational and does not fit like real life standards. You're gonna hurt yourself doing whatever they do. I've learned you're gonna hurt yourself doing whatever the action star is gonna do at the time. So I want to make it a woman, because one of my favorite things I heard was just write a brilliant character, decide on that later. Like, it literally won't affect it at all. It just make the character compelling no matter what. But regardless, female. I'm choosing female.
I can't write for female characters because I'm not female, so that isolates our directors. I think it should be a female director as well, especially if we've got a female lead, because they can tell the stories that they want told. I'm not opposed to we'll still keep it open, but I think that's my inclination. With female leads for this film, I'm thinking Jamie Chung, who was the actress from Sucker Punch. She also, what else did she play in? She was in The Hangover and Grown Ups. Unfortunately, she was in the Dragon Ball movie, but she was in Lovecraft Country.
That's where I remember her from.
She played the Ninetales in Lovecraft Country. And she was great in that.
Yes, she did. She was excellent. I didn't even recognize her. Oh my god.
I think we've got our lead.
I want her. She's really good.
I want her.
That was like such a tense role.
Is she in this environment by herself surviving, or does she have friends or family with her? Who else is in this film?
Is it cliche to start by yourself? Because I want her to start by herself and then eventually meet a group. That's what you do. That's just what you do.
I want her to navigate this experience by herself. Even if she's going to meet her family and friends. Like, she's stuck in this situation alone, isolated, and just gets swept up with we need to go to this bunker or something that takes her off the trodden path.
Okay, so I do want her alone, but she's definitely going to need, like, she's going to encounter some group or something later on, so she'll need some people there. interact with, but they won't be with her party, is what I'm hearing.
It would limit our actors if we differentiated expressly to Japanese actors. And I bring that up only because I feel like this sort of movie in English, taking place in Japan in English, is also like not realistic as well, right?
Yes.
Let's normalize subtitles.
We should normalize shooting in other places. I mean, like, movies are already a suspension of disbelief. That's why I did it, because we're normalizing it. We're gonna. This is 5 years from now.
Okay.
We should shoot in other places. And, like, you know, I don't know how I feel. What?
No. Go ahead. You don't know how you feel about.
No,
what?
I don't want to. I don't have an idea. That's why I want you to cut me off.
I think Japan is the right place for this, and the backdrop is the nuclear reactor meltdown. Had fallout that we didn't anticipate. I don't remember the reactor name. Let me see. Fukushima Daiichi plant, the reactor that melted down in 2011. We're just now seeing the manifestations of that fallout, and that is driving this airborne contagion, which infects the population. People don't know if they are immune or they have yet to be exposed to it, because obviously, like, testing isn't a thing in this panic. So you take your chances every time you go outside. Okay. But I don't know what role she plays in that, but that's the backdrop. Fukushima Daiichi is the backdrop. I don't know how far away in demographics or in geographic location it is from Osaka, but we'll play with some magic, movie magic, and we'll make it work.
Well, someone said Anna Akina, Lonely Yeti, Anna Akina. Is that the name? It's a cool name. I like the name of that.
Jupiter's Legacy. She was in Ant-Man.
She was in Jupiter's
I don't know enough about her, but these are some decent. I don't know what chops she brings to the role. I'm trying to make this serious, so I might. And if you base it off Ant-Man and
the Wasp, it's going to be hard to support you.
Yeah, she's one of the people we lose over the course of the film.
I don't remember her.
So we make her a peripheral character. Okay, Anna Akana is Jamie Chung's sister, who gets exposed and turns. I'm okay. We've got two. Who else is in this film?
Okay, so I've been watching a show. This relates. I've been watching a show called Warrior on HBO Max. I recommend it. It has a lot of like Asian American actors and actresses, all fucking incredible. All of them are so good, and the story just feels very, like, I'll be honest, it takes a minute for everything to build or it takes a minute for everything to be set up. But once everything's set up, you got all your players, the game starts, and it's fucking fun. It's great, and it's super, I don't know. I fell in love with it. So I think any of the actors from that show, I would highly choose. I'm trying to think of, did you say male or female, or it doesn't matter?
So we've got Jamie Chung and her sister Anna, right, as two female actors. I think we should probably put a male actor in, but what is his role in this? Like, what is he doing somewhere in here?
I don't want a love interest. I feel like because okay, cool.
These are I don't know, how many people do we want to follow? These are 4 or 5 people who find themselves in a bunker.
We're making a Left 4 Dead movie. We're making a Left 4 Dead franchise.
No, we're not, because we're not like no, this is serious. All right. This is
okay.
Award season is coming up, Aaron. All right.
Oh shit, you're right. The dude who played Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat, the remake, actually is in Warrior, and he's actually a good actor. We should definitely cast him, because he's good at being very intimidating and, kind of coy, like, as well. Like, he's very, like, cheeky. I love him in that show when he's being, like, an arrogant kind of dick. He's like, I got you. I can beat you anytime I want.
I'm on board with this, but I want to say, because he's in that 3-season show Warriors, and he's coming off of a high of Mortal Kombat 2021, do you think we can afford him? Is he in our wheelhouse? I'm gonna suspend belief and say yes, but
yeah, I think we can. He's in early Robert Downey Jr. phase. He's not in Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man phase yet. You know what I mean? Like, we can catch him right at the cusp. You know what?
We got to pull something out of him. This is his bunker. He's been preparing for this.
He's been okay. So he was always ready for this. He's the crazy guy that's always ready for this type of scenario.
I think the crazy thing is cliche. Oh, actually, so you either got crazy or you got the guy that nobody listened to.
The guy that nobody listened to. That's my
Same.
vote.
I like that. I like that a lot more. Like the
Nice.
signs were there. Like if you would have listened to this person in Act 1, like we would have had a control over this thing. He
It's way
may have
funnier.
a hint to an antidote, but he's also the one like explaining what's happening to people. Like, look, this is how it transmutes and this is whatever. Like you're safer down here. Don't fucking open that door.
And I always love the different types of characters that'll interact. So imagine like we see Jamie Chung and her struggle is real. Like we feel like, oh my God, we're living through her struggle as, through a zombie apocalypse, etc. And then she meets this character who was like, I knew this was gonna fucking happen. Fucking shit. And he's like killing zombies like passively. Like he already knew this is what he had to do for this role. And I think the dynamic between those two characters like that would be very interesting to watch. More than the crazy person. You know what I mean? The crazy person gets old real quick depending on the actor.
I also think that there's less blood and gore in this than any of your other zombie movies. If there's any zombie combat, it's extremely messy and it's more like a struggle between two humans versus anything else, because these are going to be slow moving people. And so because the pathogen is airborne, you just want to fucking avoid them.
So they'll have face masks pretty much whenever they're going out.
For one reason or another, people got accustomed to wearing face masks, right? Shades of 2021.
Well, not just that, but I mean like actual like
for
the
sure,
ones that like suction to your face or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, there's not a lot of like combat in this. No, there are no chainsaws, there are no barbed wire bats, right? Maybe there's like one or two rudimentary traditional zombie scenes, but this is a survival movie with a zombie backdrop.
That's the thing though. I do like when zombie movies go into that territory. Like they get crazy and they're like, I'm gonna put up spikes on a bat, like go fucking ham on this thing. I kind of like that, but maybe if it was centralized to like one character.
So we've got another character who's just immune. They don't know that they're immune, but is having fun bashing in the skulls of zombies.
I don't want to be cliche, but yeah, he's like the gamer dude. He's like he wasn't ready for this, but now that he's in it, he knows how to have fun with it. Like he's just like, oh, I have a bat now. I'm gonna get crazy.
Joe Taslim's knowledgeable character is in this, and he's trying to explain this to everyone in the bunker, and the crazy person is just like, yeah, that sounds like zombies. And he's like, no, it's a little bit more nuanced than that. And this guy's like, those are zombies, right? He's like, I know what to do with fucking zombies. And he's okay. I can spare one of those characters. Who is that character? Do you know any actor, actresses? Is that our crazy American? Because people won't miss.
That should be the crazy American. Yeah, that should be the crazy American dude.
Who, old or young?
Who would be? I'm trying to think of who's good at crazy. You know what I mean? Or not crazy. Because it's not insane, but he's just like like a gamer who's just a little bit detached. He's just like a little bit off for some reason. He's like too okay with this. Who would be good at that? I want to say Jim Carrey just to like bide for time.
But no.
What?
I think no. that would change the total fucking thing of this movie. I got two choices in here. One is going to be expensive, and then the other one I think might be the nice, slow, dark pace that we like.
Hit me.
Shia LaBeouf, this 1,000-yard stare American who's in Japan as a sex tourist who just like winds up, living out the zombie fantasy as well. Right, that's that angle. Or Crispin Glover, who's kind of like, it's a silent crazy where no one, everyone knows he's off and he's covered in blood, and he's just like, we got to kill the zombies.
Crispin Glover? That's hilarious. I just remembered him. Yeah, he's the dad from Back to the Future. Okay. I think between the two, I want Shia LaBeouf. That would be my vote between those two. But who else did he play?
I like Shia LaBeouf as crazy as well. But I think Glover is kind of more. Shia LaBeouf might eat up a lot of dead air space because I feel like the tone of this movie is going to be made in the silences, right? It's in the pauses. It's in the things that go unsaid. It's in the tense moments where you open a door, you don't know what's on the other side. Shia LaBeouf is the anti that.
Yeah, I've seen Disturbed. It's not good. Oh, damn, you're right. Because I just want to see Shia LaBeouf with a bat killing zombies. Like, I just want to see that because he was hilarious in Transformers. But that's the only thing I'm going off.
You just lost
not
me.
even his performance.
Nope. Sorry, he's out. It's Crispin. He's out. Sorry, you said Transformers. He's fucking done. So we've got our
no, and then just like
we've got our main four, right? One of these main four is not going to survive. We don't know who yet. But now let's maybe two more peripheral characters who we know are just like you're a red shirt in Star Trek. You're doomed.
I want to say, let's get Idris Elba in this only because
let's put a 6'3" black guy in Japan.
He could be there for work. Make it a sale or something. But regardless, imagine the reason I want that is because I want a big character, a big, daunting, strong character, like someone who looks big and strong. Because if you get rid of them in a scene before you get to the main character, early. Yep. If you get rid, but it's like a cameo, so the audience will think, oh, this is an actor. He's gonna stay for a while. Oh my god, I love that shock value. I think that'll set the tone for the rest of the movie. And if this guy can't take it, who can?
We might be able to afford Idris Elba for 10 lines and 5 scenes. That might be doable. I don't know though, but I think that's too expensive. Do you have anybody else?
John Cena would make it funny, so I'm not doing that.
You know what? We're pulling in Bautista. This is his make good.
I don't think he would. I mean, like,
you don't think he'd do another zombie? That's fair. That's
never
fair.
Mind. I think. Well, it just seems, honestly, for Dave Bautista, the sense I get from him, he just does things for the fun of it. Like, he really, I don't think he really cared about how good or bad the script was for Army of the Dead. He just kind of was like, this seems fun, and I think I can have fun with this character. And that was all that he needed, which I love. I really respect that. I love that. It's cool.
I think
if that's his real purpose.
I'm okay. Idris Elba is at a business meeting, right? And this thing outbreaks. Somebody sneezes on him in a cafe or something, and then like everybody goes crazy. I'm okay with losing Idris Elba in the first 20 minutes. So I think we can afford that. I think the 6th and last character has to be a Twitch personality or a YouTuber, right? Or is it Matt Mercer? Right? Like it's somebody that pulls in other people, somebody involved with the geek genre who
it's Ninja.
Is it Ninja as himself? Because I think we can afford
Ninja
that.
As Ninja, and he gets taken out before Idris Elba.
Ninja's at like he's at a gaming thing or a signing, and like the outbreak goes crazy at this sporting event. That's brilliant. Yes,
I don't want it to be a sporting event. Ridiculous. I want it to be like an E3. Like that's where Ninja gets like his
Tokyo Game Show. So Tokyo Game Show is not in Osaka, but we can move it to Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah,
which I believe Tokyo is closer to Fukushima Daiichi. I don't know.
The most believable thing about a zombie movie would be us just moving one event to a different location. Who cares?
That allows us to pull him in and not make this a parody film. Okay, I'm okay with that. All right, so we've got our 6. Who's directing this? Preference
someone who knows
for female directors, right? Because our 2 leads, Anna and Jamie, need to be written for by a female. Otherwise, we're gonna butcher it.
Didn't a woman direct the first Wonder Woman? Like the first one, not the second one.
Maybe, but is that like an attribute? The first Wonder Woman, you put that on your resume as if it's gonna get you future work. All right.
I mean, there's like one scene that's good.
Jackie, who would you get to direct this if you're still listening? Jackie T, Doom Spiraling, friend of the show, Columbia film student. Hopefully we can get her input, but I'm drawing a blank.
I'm trying to think of who would be best at this. I'm also terrible at names, so I'm trying to think who would be best. No, you got me. You can fill me in here.
I'm in a blank, and I feel the worst for it.
We're getting hmms.
The first person, and I have to admit, I did Google this, and I'm looking up the aesthetic of their work. Chloe Zhao is an Academy Award winning director, Chinese filmmaker, and had films premiere at Sundance. I am not familiar with her overall catalog in terms of like reviewed the films, but like the Eternals is pretty strong. I've never seen Post, Daughters, Atlas Mountain, The Rider, so I can't. This is where we're going to ask for outside help. Deborah Chow, director of Kenobi. So we've consulted with one of our
Kenobi?
sponsors, Jackie T, and she recommends somebody by the name of Deborah Chow, who's a Canadian filmmaker for television and film, and
That's
has
great.
directed episodes of The Mandalorian.
That's okay, good. See, like, I don't want to base something off of something that's coming out. Like, we don't know if that's good or not. I want to base it off of like what I've seen before. And I know I've seen women directors, but I think rarely look at the credits.
I think Jackie has found it for us, right? We consulted with our casting director to try to find a director, and she recommended somebody who has directed episodes of American Gods, Mr. Robot, Better Call Saul. I think Jessica Jones. I think
Deborah Chow.
Yeah, I think Deborah Chow is our director for this film.
Okay, you had me, Mr. Robot. Done. That whole series feels like a film, like just stretched out. So
yeah,
really, Deborah
and I think
okay, I'm down.
The American Gods vibe without the overt CGI is like what we're going for, and the pace of like a Mr. Robot too, like a kind of suspenseful versus scary zombie film. I think she's got that dialed in.
Have you seen Mr. Robot? Because the way some scenes are shot, even in any episode, are so drawn out, but they keep the tension very constant. Like, it's always, at least for me, it was always like I am tense because of not only the circumstances these characters are in, but because of how the scene is just basically like, it makes me feel like I'm waiting for the answers in a good way, not in a boring pacing way. Okay, I'm down.
All right, so based in Tokyo, of the backdrop of the Fukushima Daiichi emitting a particulate that turns people into slow zombies that have an audible and a heat sensor. In the chaos of that,
I love what I'm seeing. I love what's going on right now.
Ninja, Idris Elba, Crispin Glover,
we can switch out
Joe
Ninja
Towson, Anna Akana, and Jamie Chung find themselves in these crazy situations. Idris Elba and Ninja are one of the first victims of this on screen in a brutal way. It's going to be a slow burn of a zombie munching flick. There's going to be very minimal gore. It's going to be more implied gore and violence, but like there aren't going to be baseball bats to the brain, right? There may be some, if you fight a zombie, it's going to be very drug out. It's going to be very sloppy and messy. It's going to be like you're struggling against another human. And the pathogen being airborne means that you avoid people and you're tentative to people versus being thrown into like this group survival mechanism. All right. They all converge in this bunker converge into Joe Taslim's bunker through various methods. And the film is about the lead up to how they arrived at the bunker. And the end of the film is roughly them arguing about whether or not to leave or to stay. And the film ends on them finally opening the bunker and dissolves to black because we don't know what's on the other side, but we, the audience, can only guess at what's on the other side given the stories that people told leading up to it.
And it leaves it open for franchises.
It leaves it open for franchises, baby. There's no part 2 of this. It's straight to Netflix episodics. All right, this is good. Okay, what is it called? Okay, what is the name of this? This is where you make this film. What is the name of this?
Contagion has been taked, so I will not do that. I almost don't even want to like tie zombie into the name of it. You know what I mean? Like a hint at it. I want to figure out like how to basically get across the point that it's more of like you're going to be seeing their past before you experience their present. You know what I mean?
Please clap.
Before you experience them leaving this bunker, you're going to be hearing about all of them. How do you put that into like a title?
Corrupted core. Because the core of the core of the power plant broke down. All of these characters at their core are flawed. And then some science around it is like the breakdown of the cell that removes, the frontal lobe aspect of you just turn to your reptilian brain. Corrupted core is my vote. I don't know though.
Or we
chat. We're willing to take options.
Reptilian brain.
No.
I'm just kidding.
I can't work with this guy anymore.
Okay.
He needs to be off the next I'm done with this amateur shit. All right,
I'm
my
selling my
career
stock.
is stuck. If I do another film with this guy, like that, I might as well retire.
Let's get Michael Bay on this.
Produced by Michael Bay.
Oh yeah, we didn't decide a director. It's got to be
no,
someone
we
who can
did
do
Deborah
some-
Chow. Deborah Chow.
Oh, Deborah Chow. My bad. Corrupted core seems nice. I like something at the core of their being, but the core of their being. Maybe one of those moments where we say a thing and then we're both like, okay, you know. Shit.
I do
All right.
like the Half-Life nuclear fusion sort of reference with like
Core
the breakdown
fusion?
of radiation. Why is it so hard to pick a title? This is like, it's fun
Because like
but
we don't
it's
emotions of the dead. You know what I mean? Like we're
Stop
trying not
it.
to slip into like cliches. Magic. No, I don't know why I said that.
All right, taking too long. Corrupted core it is.
Corrupted core. We gotta stick with corrupted core.
Core is what it is.
And
Book
now we
it.
got a movie.
Nail it. Now we got a film. Corrupted Core in theaters coming near you. We're gonna poll you guys and see whether or not you
2026.
like the film that we've described, and that we'll use that as a metric to gauge how successful it is. Outside of that, I think the bar is very low because we're competing against shit like Army of the Dead, which brings us to movie review. Right? You like that segue? This movie was
Smooth.
It wasn't awful. But you know, if you missed it, your life's not any different as a result.
It's just a drinking movie. Like it really felt like you just drink to it and you just watch it. But the more you think about it, it's gonna get a little frustrating. There's a lot of elements in the movie that lead up to nothing. Like example, the dude who had the chainsaw in the intro. He's like, I'm known for having the chainsaw, and then he never uses the fucking chainsaw. Thought that was kind of frustrating. I really wanted to see that. And then the Tig Notaro, who was having problems with the also I want to tell you something about Tig Notaro in the movie. But her scenes where she was having problems with the helicopter was a little frustrating because again, it ultimately led up to nothing. They got the helicopter running, they got it flying. The only tension was that you thought there wasn't going to happen, and then it fucking happened. So it really wasn't fun.
Her character, the intro was really quick. It's like, I don't need any details. I'm bored stiff. I want to be a part of this mission. Suicide, low chance of survival. Sign me up, brother. I don't care how much you pay me. Like you've come to expect that in that person in every zombie film. Crispin Glover is not going to be that in our film. No, Crispin Glover is going to be the psychopath who you're trapped in a room with, who you feel uneasy about. But her character was fun, right? I did like that. The character with the chainsaw, I did too. Actually, Omari Hartwick, the chainsaw guy, I had a lot of fun with him, especially when he was testing out the safe and the booby traps and going up to the top floor in the elevator, getting a zombie, strapping it to a thing and forcing it to walk forward. Right? It smelled the meat and it would walk forward and trigger the booby traps. That was fun. The ending was fun because of that too, because of him too. But I didn't really have too much. There's not a lot I can like tip my hat to.
Grasp. I liked a lot of little elements. The scenes were shot completely on a green screen, but
I was just reading that too.
Got to remove someone.
I don't know that
that's what
true,
I wanted to talk about.
If this was shot completely on a green screen, that's kind of cool.
Well, okay.
I didn't notice
behind the scenes? Did you watch the behind the scenes on Netflix about it? There's like a little 30-minute thing. You should watch that. It's actually fascinating. It explains two things: that visual effects are incredible. They did a lot of it on green screen or sets. Like there was mixtures of both.
There are a lot of scenes where you could be like, clearly they didn't set up a stage for this or a set for this, right? But totally. I wasn't like, look at that shitty chroma key. None of that crossed my mind.
It also explains why it was so fucking blurry. I just thought because I had a bong in my hand that the movie was just naturally blurry. But no, he was using these really specific Japanese cameras that like he owned for a very long time. It cost him a lot of money, where the focal depth wasn't perfect.
Like the bokeh effect, I could be right, like, or whatever the fuck it's called. Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
I'm a little
way to
off.
Mask it.
I mean, yeah, but it's also it wasn't masking it. It was he just made it incredibly blurry. Like some scenes, only one character's in focus in a row in a side shot, and you see a row of 8 people, and only one character is pretty much in focus, and the rest are subtly blurry. So it's a little, I don't know, looking back and realizing, oh, it wasn't just me. It was the film, where it's kind of like, I don't know. I didn't notice it, but looking back, I don't think I want to watch it again because of it. You know, there's some scenes where, remember the zombie queen in the first scene where she kind of like, and then she backs out into frame and becomes super blurry. It's like, wait, aren't they just looking at her still hissing and it's still at that same distance? It's not like she blurred out in the camera. She didn't blur out to them. So that's not compelling from like a cinematic standpoint. That's kind of fucking hilarious.
I'm glad you brought her up, right? Because I hate what she stands for in that film, right? The zombies are clearly fucking. Not only are they like not sentient and like totally with it, the guy wears a cape. He's got a mask on, a bulletproof mask to protect his head. He's smart enough to know to protect his head. He cries when his significant other is dead, and the significant other's head is off, and still like, this is not pick a lane, right? This is exactly why I hate Stephenie Meyer and Twilight, right? Like, you can't throw out all of the rules of this lore. There are certain fucking guardrails that you have to adhere to, right? Like, you took a risk and it failed, right? Like, no, one of the critical things is vampires can't go out in the sun. Stop it. Like,
they're glittering.
I don't want to see my zombies crying. Right? Like, what the fuck?
I like the attempt at making something new with zombies, only because there's so many films of zombies right now and shows as well. But yeah, I would agree with that it really didn't add up to anything, like, other than the Zombie King's vendetta. And it's confusing because it's like, what am I supposed to feel when you're right, she's still alive, but at the same time her body's dead and the zombie can't live? So like, shouldn't her body still work and have the child regardless of the head being off? Is that the logic? Is that the train of thought? It's a big reach is my point.
All of the money, and I include the writing, went into the opening credits and zombie prosthetics, because as much as like gore and that shit is like kind of silly, it was kind of cool to watch a lot of like the butchering stuff that happened in the explosions. Like, the zombie tiger, as ridiculous as it was still great. Like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool, you know?
Hell yeah. I like a lot of those visual, like, that stuff was great. I wish there was more of it. That's the frustrating part.
The dude was on a cape and he rode a zombie horse.
Yeah, there should have been more of that. Army of the Dead never came up unless it was the concept that these zombies could be used as an army. You know what I mean? Like, they threw zombies at the main characters, but they erased them pretty quickly. Like, it wasn't threatening. It just felt like it was a really cool shoot shot.
The Alpha Hive. So the zombies that were more like humans and in a colony were more of the alpha zombies, and then the zombies that you're traditionally used to in this film, they explained it away as they're like your fucking fodder zombies. Even though this outbreak happened in Vegas and the zombie stayed in Vegas and had like a, you know, this whole other thing, they were able to wall off Vegas. Vegas is like, how big of a city is it? They walled it off with shipping containers.
I thought that was unnecessary. Yeah, like, why they couldn't use anything else?
Okay,
like,
they did that.
Stephen King's The Dome is more believable to wall off a city than shipping containers.
Fine, let's say they did that. These zombies that have these emotions that are like on the 5th floor of a casino that are like impregnating other zombies can't figure out the mechanism of a door lock or maybe climb a fucking shipping container.
You think they'd be smart enough at some point with the leader acting like he's pretty sentient, like he's aware of everything that's going on?
You know how I knew this movie was going to be dog shit? In the opening scene, when they're talking about the zombie outbreak, right? They do this cameo of like, let's get real world talking heads breaking this down like they would on a political talk show. And the two people that they could get were Sean Spicer and Donna Brazile. Of course, this movie, two disingenuous morons, they're going to have his talking fucking heads on this. This movie was doomed. Absolutely doomed. Do you have anything else to add to this? I'm upset that so this was an Aaron recommendation of a film to watch, by the way.
Oh
When
my
we sit
God.
here and we talk about what should we watch next, what should we talk about next, I'm like, I don't know, let's fucking watch whatever. I'm like, let's watch Dumb and Dumber.
First of
I'm
all,
like, let's watch Demolition Man. Aaron's like, let's watch Kong and Army of the Dead. These are his choices.
We have to talk about the new. Well, I love talking about all movies from everywhere of throughout film, but we got to talk about the contemporary films and talk about how they just don't stack up. Some don't stack up, and that fascinates me.
Fair. Okay.
I love, but I didn't see this. I didn't recommend it because I loved this film. I recommended it because it was a Zach Snyder film. I know our history with Zach Snyder, and I was like, we have to see this shit. Like, there's no way we can't.
That's completely fair. Because it is a Zack Snyder film, I did want to. But he had already had something like this on his catalog, didn't he?
He did. It was Dawn of the
So
Dead.
what the fuck was this?
It sounded like this was the fun version of what he wanted from Dawn of the Dead, because Dawn of the Dead felt way more tense, way more serious, and ignoring the sprinting zombies, it really doesn't affect the movie. The zombie sprinting really doesn't affect the film. Because they're all the human main characters are just trapped in this mall throughout the entire film, except for one plot line where one dude is trying to protect his pregnant wife becoming a zombie. That was dumb. He shouldn't have done that. That was frustrating.
Yeah.
But other than that, the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
But other than that,
even
the movie was enjoyable and I could track the logic way more.
That movie was really stupid. But you're right. It was entertaining and it was enjoyable. And I say it's stupid because like he doesn't even adhere to the same zombie rules in his universe. Tell me why the zombies respond to people but not dogs. Would a zombie not eat a dog? Right? Remember when they sent messages back and forth using the dogs in the building or some shit?
Doesn't that happen like, oh wait, no, you're right. Oh wait, in Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, you're right. Between them and the other dude on the roof. Doesn't that come up in a lot of other films though? I don't see a lot of like sacrificing a lamb or a cow or any animal to zombies in order to escape. You know what I mean? I rarely see that for some reason, which is weird.
So which ending did you like, Dawn of the Dead or this? I did like Dawn of the Dead ending more. If you remember it, right? I think it was like some VHS tape of them washing ashore on some island or something. They got off land. Was that it?
Surprisingly, I don't remember the ending other than the dude.
Like a zombie movie is completely forgettable. Surprise.
Yes, fine, but slightly more memorable than Army of the Dead at the very least. Because the only parts that stand out in Army of the Dead are the stupid ones. You know what I mean? Like they go out to steal a safe, and then the whole time you're asking, why don't they just use the helicopter pilot to fly them to the top of the fucking building? Go to the safe, go to the helicopter, leave. Why are you walking into it?
Here's the thing about the Snyder Dawn of the Dead, Army of the Dead film. If you have them walled off like that, there is more than enough ammo. You have the virus quarantined, right? Like a nuke isn't going to do it. You send people in to sweep the area inch by fucking inch, and you exterminate everything in there, right? There's no negotiation happening. If it survived inside this quarantine zone for 3 weeks, odds are it's as good as dead. Fucking no negotiation, no nothing. Just like you don't need to nuke it. You nuke this, and then what? Now you have radioactive zombies that can fucking reproduce and give birth and care about each other. Radioactive tiger zombies.
Would you even try and watch a film franchise of this? Because that's what I heard was a possibility.
No, I heard that too.
Based on how it ends.
Oh my God!
That there's likely going to be a second one of these. I'm not a fan of that. Even though I did like the ending. And the other thing too with the whole zombie thing is like how long it takes to affect some people, right? This man was long enough to traverse the desert, he was like 24 hours, right?
Yeah. It
Whereas
lasted way
Bautista,
longer than it should have.
It was like 15 minutes, right? He got bitten on that fucking helicopter fight, and then he was turning.
It happened way too. Yeah, the time of which, like Zach Snyder doesn't explain the right things sometimes. He didn't even bother to be like, there's a time frame of when you become the zombie, because then that's exactly what I was thinking in the end credit scene, where it's like he's still not breaking out, but I feel like he's been bitten. You know what I mean? Because why is he the only one to venture from the city for so long?
you either turn really quickly. That's another thing we didn't ask, right? Do you turn quickly or do you fight your natural instincts, right? Do you fight the transformation? And do you realize that like a finger fell off or like you're staring at somebody's neck too intently? Or is it once it hits your bloodstream, you've got like 10 minutes?
I like the psychological.
For our film.
Yeah, for ours. I like the for Corrupted Core. I like the psychological torment idea.
Same.
Like someone's dealing with them going through this. But then think about this. Anyone can be like, no, it's me. Don't kill me. I love you. And then you can pull that character out of being a zombie through the power of fucking friendship or love or something. And I don't like that concept. I never like that.
We're not going to have that. As soon as you're corrupted,
if they're sentient.
Nope. As soon as you're corrupted, you're doomed. The more telling side of the zombie genre is I'm going to make the responsible decision and end this on my terms, right? That's the stronger hook versus the like, both of us know what's coming. You're going to wait until I turn to kill me so that you don't kill the person that you know. Whereas me, if you have a dislocated shoulder, right? I'm going to do the doctor thing. Okay, I'm going to pop your shoulder in on the count of 3. 1, 2, pop. Right? I'm going to catch you off guard.
Yeah.
Like if I know that your days and your time is numbered, I'm going to take you out when you don't expect it because I feel like that's the humane thing versus letting you suffer in this transformation to where you don't even recognize yourself. That's way more of a hook.
I like that struggle a lot more. I think that Army of the Dead could have benefited from something like that. It really did.
Yeah, with I Am Legend, right? Doom spiraling is right. Like once you're corrupted, there's no going back. And I think that adds to the gravity of the situation. You can't, I Am Legend, they tried to medically undo it. Whereas more realistically, now you've just got a hybrid of people who are just like predisposed to immunity thanks to their genes. What would you rate Army of the Dead by Zach Snyder?
Oh man, I'm gonna put it at a 68. I'm gonna put it at a 68 because, like I said, if you go below 50, then you're in trouble. Wait, which
one was your rating of Mortal Kombat? 65, I think. This is better than Mortal Kombat.
I had more fun with it. You know what I mean? Because like Mortal Kombat has too much history. When you compare it to the original. Also, I do want to take back one thing about Reptile, but regardless, but with Army of the Dead, I'm fine with 68. I guess I'm giving it brownie points because of what he tried to do. He tried to do a heist movie inside of a zombie film, inside of an alien zombie film. That's literally what he says in the behind the scenes. Yeah, that's what he says in the behind the scenes feature. And I'm like, that's a great approach. But man, nothing really builds up to one another and feels satisfying. I only got a little enjoyment out of the Saw dude and the Safecracker dude. Like their friendship, even though it was very little, I liked it. He was like, stop annoying me. And he's like, I can't, I'm Russian. And I love their dynamic.
100%. I think the Safecracker guy, the Russian who was an artist at safecracking, and Amari Hartwick's character with the chainsaw, that relationship was really the only thing pulling this film towards the end, especially when he did the self-sacrifice. Bautista and his daughter, no child of mine would make such a foolish decision, right? Like, get the fuck out of here. I couldn't believe, no, that's not happening.
I was so pissed at the end of the film, like spoiler, but like when she was basically fine and most of the team was hurt. Like, I'll just say
that's the way it goes, right? Like,
it was
your
so
selfishness.
Frustrating.
Why we got to go and pick you up? Like, I'm already in this plane. Like, we told you to be somewhere. You weren't somewhere. Like, good luck.
We're all taking care of you. And get this, did you think about it? Did the people she went in to save make it at the end of the movie? Did you even see them after the helicopter crash?
Totally useless characters.
Gone. Like,
that signed their own fate because they had a family, right? They got greedy. That's why they went in there. Greed. Right? And then they didn't make it out in time.
Okay, 65.
Yeah, which brings me, so I wasn't attached to them at all. Like, I could care less about you risking what an irresponsible thing to do. You've got a family. Come on. And you're leaving them at like a refugee camp to go get some coins out of a slot machine.
And I didn't like her at the beginning of it either. Like, she was terrible all around.
I did like the justice portrayed where they sacrificed him, the security guard, the refugee camp security guard, to the alpha zombie for free passage, right? Like they had to
That was
make
cool.
a sacrifice. That was really cool. And a comeuppance to a character that's probably pretty realistic in those dire straits. There'd be, unfortunately, a personality that would seek to take advantage of people in their most desperate. So to see him get his comeuppance, I was like, all right, yeah, cool. We're on the right track here.
I mean, yes, but also at the same time, the second I saw him being the biggest asshole I could ever imagine, from the second you saw him, I was like, okay,
You
well,
knew.
he's definitely gonna fucking die. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it would be more compelling to keep him around, but Zack Snyder's definitely gonna fucking kill this dude.
To have him be one of the few survivors, basically being like, snakes exist, and unfortunately they're really efficient at fucking
Surviving.
will. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
he's the Starscream of the group.
No shit. But brings me to my rating. Are you settling on 68 or are you moving it down?
I'm gonna move 3 points down because I think it's at the level of Mortal Kombat. I think it's like 65. I'm a 65 guy.
Mortal Kombat, you deserve better. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that to you,
not.
but I'm going to give Army of the Dead a 65. And I think, congratulations, Army of the Dead. You've got the worst rating I've reviewed on this podcast so far.
And the Zack Snyder film. Woo!
And it's a Zack Snyder film. Zach, like, you have to try, Zach, to get me to not like you. And you know what? Big George W. Bush on the naval carrier, mission accomplished. Good job.
We did it.
We did. Major combat operations in Las Vegas is over. We've successfully done it. Good job.
We got him.
You know what? George Bush as a president would absolutely think that a reasonable response to this crisis would be to nuke Las Vegas. That's, yeah, complete.
One more president since then who would also agree.
Fool me once, shame on you.
Okay.
You can't get fooled again, is what I'm saying. Let's talk now about Corrupted Core, because like this film is actually going to have some redemptive qualities to it. And a question is coming in the chat. It's like, what's the commentary of our zombie film? Like, what's the cultural commentary that it's addressing? What are the conflicts, right? What societal thing or existential fear is it tapping into, right? Beyond the obvious nuclear power plant and plague. My subtext to this is humanity's innate shittiness. I want a bunch of scenes of self-preservation, right? A bunch of scenes where this problem exacerbates because people don't do the simple thing like wear a mask or socially distance, right? Like this problem snowballs because we're too self-involved in order to follow the science, right? And do the right thing. The not following the science is why nobody listens to Joe Taslim, and why this thing escapes a Wuhan lab. I'm sorry. Why this, the Corrupted Core, no one agrees or is listening to this person because it's been so many years, but like he's on to something.
I like the idea that the commentary would be based around primarily self-preservation, that driving force, forcing people to be selfish, for their own survival. I like that idea. It's in a lot of zombie things, but you can really drive something compelling out of someone struggling for their own survival and being very self-involved, especially in terms of this movie, where it's about people telling everybody else who they are and where they're coming from. So they're all still self-involved. So I like that. In
the lead up to that, like the inertia behind finding each other in the bunker,
disgusting.
You have, I know, I'm gross human. You have a bunch of peripheral news articles, or as infection rates spread throughout India and Europe, the United States still deliberating on what the best course of action, right? They're basically gridlocked and their hands are tied because it's become a political issue. And that's happening the world over, including like the thing that I want to get across is, if this can happen in Japan and, it causes such chaos to where they can't mount a unified response, the rest of the world is fucked. Right? Like,
our situation. Yeah.
Pretty much. That's the commentary I want to address in this zombie thriller.
I'm trying to think about, now I'm just getting too into it, where I'm thinking like, will the American audience see that, because they often don't like poking anything like their own like self-commentary at America. America don't really like that. I feel like I'm not seeing too many films where they poke holes at themselves, America. But if it was in Japan, maybe I mean, at least it's more understandable. Like they'd be like, oh, okay, that's what it's like in other places or something.
There is another film which we probably should review, that's called Songbird. And it's basically like a COVID takeoff, right? Like everyone is quarantined, everyone is locked down, and your exposure, like somebody gets exposed and they're knocking on their neighbor's door, let me in before the government comes and takes me away. We're not doing that Big Brother thing, right? Even though that is a decent concept, it skews a little bit more conservative in terms of like the way that plays out, right? The conspiracy theories associated with shit like that. Big Brother keeping you locked up in freedoms, and you know, you got to be temperature tested everywhere you go. Society in our film doesn't even get to that part. There's no mounting a response.
I like that idea, because I guess then it kind of drives the point, well, this is what happens if we just don't do that at all. Like if we get what you want, you know, and you just want to live your life the way you are, regardless of whatever fucking plague is going on, then here's the end result. If it were zombie plague, and you get zombies, got them, you know.
Yeah, I think if we're gonna salvage wasting 2 hours of everybody's life, it's with our hypothetical film Corrupted Core, which is coming out in theaters in the fall of 2025, if we make it that far.
2025.
Make sure you book your tickets now, because what we're not going to be doing is talking about Army of the Dead ever again.
Cap.
Yeah,
unless it becomes a franchise.
Yeah, shit. That a movie news segment in like a year and a half, we're gonna be like, so remember that fucking piece of shit we talked about on the thing? Yeah, they're doing a sequel. Oh, fast forward 15 years. Oh, there's 10 of them. Army of the Dead 10, A10, Fast 9. Yeah, this is exactly the stuff that franchises are made of. This is why humanity is doomed. And this is why we are thanking you for taking the time to put up with us as we discuss this film. Want to thank Lauren for taking care of Aaron when she should have left him drooling in a puddle of his own saliva on the beaches of Hawaii. I want to thank Thomas for continually allowing us to urinate all over the Quest and Chaos channel with these live streams and videos. But we're going to keep doing it until he tells us to stop.
No, God, please.
Thanks again for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have a good rest of your evening, and we will catch you next time. Peace.
Let us know what you thought.